He
Don't
said
worry
easy
about what
work,
he said.
easy money. Do you
Don't
agree?
worry about what. There's no easy fight. There's no easy fight.
Why is he saying this? Why is he saying this? He said easy money.
He believes in me.
Yeah,
He
that's
believes
right.
in me.
I like that. I
Have
like
you ever seen like someone on X Factor that can't sing but their parents believe in them?
I'm going in there, I can fight free. If he starts getting touched up and losing rounds, I think the cookie will crumble.
Do you agree?
Whatever he said, we'll see if the cookie crumbles. I don't know what to say. I'm confident in myself. Like, I'm not focusing on him. I just know what I can do, and I can't wait to show it. I'm not gonna crumble. I'm solid. I've been through wars.
This is what I'm gonna say. I don't want to focus on it being like about Jake. Oh, Jake's small, so that makes me confident. Jake's this, so that makes me confident. I'm just focused on myself. I'm confident in myself. Jake could be 10th. I'm confident in myself. That's what I'm saying. It's not about how he is. I just really like. I've got a good team. I've been through ups and downs. I've stood the test of time. I'm passionate. I'm hungry, and I'm still here ready to fight my heart out. So I'm confident in that. And that's what
Anthony Joshua has delivered a direct and calculated message to Jake Paul, making it crystal clear he approaches this bout not as some social media spectacle, but as an established heavyweight title holder carrying extensive championship-level credentials throughout his professional journey.
Boxing is not just the punches you see, it's the feinting, it's the distance, it's the, oh my God, through that jab, yeah, the intangibles. It's going to be really interesting to see how he deals with the intangibles in that.
Yeah,
and that's why I said there's a few things that I'm going to do in the ring that he might not have seen before, and I'm going to see how he deals with them.
Yeah.
Always have a lot to say, but both of us have some of the biggest knockouts of the past years in boxing, and we're coming to fight. We made it smaller gloves just now today, so someone's getting put to sleep.
He recognizes that assurance developed from global competition, title defenses, and intense battleground atmospheres simply cannot be duplicated by someone making the leap from influencer status toward professional pugilism.
I align myself with some of the greatest coaches and greatest fighters in the world because I have that hunger, that desire. Every time I've been knocked down or been in trouble when I was younger, came back 3 years later, got to the Olympics, get in trouble again before the Olympics, 3 years later, become world champion after 16 fights, win all the belts, get beat by Ruiz, come back and unify the division for the second time. It's just constantly drives my focus and my hunger to get better. So I'm going to be a tough man to break down 100% come December 19th because I've been building myself over the last year. I ain't been sitting back. I've been working.
Joshua clarifies that his camp preparation concentrated on polishing basics, sharpening attack sequences, and collaborating with elite-level coaches, ensuring zero unexpected element, whatever strategy Paul unveils come battle evening. From his perspective, this confrontation centers less around publicity and more on showcasing the massive distinction between an emerging internet fighter and a completely seasoned championship contender, and he anticipates the showing will expose that divide in undeniable fashion.
I don't think it's necessarily fair to AJ. I just know that I have the power and the timing. It's the shots that you don't see coming that knock people out. And I'm a tricky knockout artist that people don't give me enough credit for. I've won knockout of the year. So he has to be careful. And I do have the timing, the speed, and the tricks up my sleeve to be able to hit a shot on this guy that he doesn't see coming that can put him to sleep 1000%.
Expanding on the broader anxieties expressed by competitors and experts, Conor McGregor contributes his own raw opinion, recognizing Jake Paul earns acknowledgement purely for advancing toward an obstacle of this magnitude. However, that acknowledgement cannot eliminate the peril. McGregor emphasizes that pugilism shows no mercy, and confronting a physically imposing heavyweight like Anthony Joshua creates genuine hazards, not merely streaming platform publicity.
He's going to get knocked out by AJ though, isn't he?
If he makes that walk, I've got to give him his respect for that. It's very dangerous, you know. It seems like Netflix are all over him. It's a dangerous sport, and you can't overlook that. Joshua's a big boy and a powerhouse. I've sat ringside and watched Joshua. That's a heavy punching man, and he's a happy and he's a good kid. He has an anger in him. He has a darkness in him, does Anthony Joshua. I don't think a lot of people suss that. So, the fight shouldn't go ahead. In my opinion, the fight shouldn't go ahead. However, if he does it, I'll give him the respect.
He portrays Joshua as a wrecking machine, carrying devastating fists and a brutal competitive nature that only legitimate warriors have witnessed at close range. Through his lens, incredibly limited individuals can endure what Joshua unleashes when he's dialed in, and he publicly wonders whether this matchup should even occur, given the harm it might inflict. Nevertheless, if Jake proceeds with making that entrance, McGregor thinks the bravery itself demands recognition, even though the result seems horrifically foreseeable.
I don't want to ask you about a prediction for Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua because I think a lot of people know what will happen, but is it dangerous for Jake Paul to be taking on a big heavyweight? You're a heavyweight, man. I wouldn't want to get punched by you here. Is it very dangerous for Jake Paul to be even taken?
I mean, no matter what it is, it can be an exhibition fight or whatever fight it is. When two guys step over that rope and they got bad intentions or they ready to throw blows, it's always bad. You got to understand that boxing is a dangerous business and the head is not meant to be hit in the first place. Doctors will always tell you the head is not meant to be hit, the body is not meant to be hit, the brain is not meant to be shook.
Advancing beyond McGregor's warnings regarding peril and legitimacy, seasoned boxing correspondent Gareth A. Davies reinforces the same troubled perspective while breaking down what transforms Joshua versus Jake Paul into such a bizarre yet universally captivating encounter. Broadcasting from Dubai, he confesses that regardless of marketing efforts, numerous insiders still find it challenging to accept this pairing is genuinely occurring until both athletes are positioned beneath the spotlights on Fight Week. Davies appreciates Jake Paul's readiness to accept such a test, but underscores the inescapable truth.
It would have been a tick in the box and signing the contract straight away. Readily, you cannot see a victory for Jake Paul. I mean, you can't, I do worry about his safety in there. I do know that it wouldn't have been licensed in the UK. Even today, people are throwing conjecture on the fact that Jake Paul hurt his eye. He said it was Lawrence Okoli punched him in sparring and that the fight is off. People are almost looking for a reason for it to be off. I've been there myself in the last couple of weeks as well. I mean, I cannot believe, until I see them in Fight Week and until we witness it, I won't believe it's truly happening, if I'm honest.
Matching an amateur pugilist against a previous unified heavyweight titleist is something that could never receive approval in more regulated territories like the UK. He points out that even promoters appear to be hunting for reasons for the bout to be cancelled, referencing rumors surrounding Jake Paul's supposed eye damage during preparation. He further notes that this goes beyond mere entertainment theater. The heavyweight category stays a threatening environment, and each strike holds the same consequences irrespective of fame or social media presence, while recognizing that the clash will presumably produce viewership-shattering figures and offer Joshua with an incredibly uncomplicated return chance.
And as I spoke with Nikisa Badarin and Jake Paul at the press conference in Miami a couple of weeks back, if Jake Paul does do it, it'll be the biggest upset in the history of boxing. The biggest shock ever. Maybe one of the biggest upsets in the whole of sport. Some people will question whether this really is sport. You know, you can deem it to be circus, you can deem it to be freak show. Spoke to David Hay for an interview in the Telegraph that's going in tomorrow, I think. And he was saying, you know, if he'd been offered this all those years ago and he was in the same position as Anthony Joshua, he said, I wouldn't have even thought about it. I wouldn't have even given it any consideration. It would have been a tick in the box.
Davies underscores that the expectation entirely rests on AJ. If the contest extends beyond a couple rounds, doubters will challenge his competitive drive. And if something goes catastrophically sideways, pugilism will need to justify why this competition ever reached a sanctioned ring. As the boxing community persists in questioning the validity and hazards of Joshua versus Jake Paul, commentator Wade Plemons pushes that worry even deeper by investigating what is genuinely unfolding within Jake's preparation facility, and the indicators aren't particularly promising. He notes Jake displaying a significant black eye from current heavyweight preparation rounds, specifically against Lawrence Okoli, a considerably bigger and more seasoned combatant, whose punching style and left hook replicate the precise dangers Anthony Joshua presents.
like Lawrence Okoli, and especially if it's your right eye. If Jake's getting hit in his right eye, that usually would mean that he's getting jabbed, because that jab in orthodox would come out from the left hand on the right eye side constantly, or got jabbed big time with a one big shot, or, and this may be even more of a bad thing for Jake Paul, he's gotten hit with a hard left hook, one that he didn't see because it was right on his eye. And it looks like it landed pretty flush, as you can kind of see here. Question is, which one of those two things is happening? And question is, how is it going down? Because what we know about Anthony Joshua is that he has a nasty lead.
Plemons observes that although preparing with physically dominant sparring partners is designed to condition Jake for the distance and aggression of a legitimate heavyweight, the obvious facial injuries indicate he is failing to evade punches he'll certainly encounter on fight night. He emphasizes that at this championship tier, one accurate shot, even in preparation, reveals a narrative about reactions, protection, and weaknesses that could transform into a critical element once the gloves are reduced. The attention is amplified, and every error matters. Plemons also examines Joshua's psychology through clips of media events and preparation footage, observing that AJ seems completely concentrated, already at target weight, and driven by the concept of delivering relentless aggression. Jake's efforts to frame the dimension disparity as a benefit for himself are received with doubt, as Plemons stresses that Joshua's extension, force, and ring intelligence will place Jake in challenging situations he has never genuinely experienced previously.
This is the worst I've seen Jake look after sparring or at any time during his camps, and maybe there's been times where he's not on camera, but you can tell the levels are higher and the risk is higher and the danger is higher this time around because of how his eye looks. He's probably getting hit harder, getting up worse in sparring than he ever has. Now, he has said that the heavyweights he's sparring, it's actually easier for him and he's not getting hit as much, but that black eye is not the same indication as to what he's saying. So either he's embellishing a bit and this is harder than he thought, or harder than in anything else he's ever done as far as the sparring, the training for this match, or he got caught with something big and that's the only big shot.
He contends that this hazard extends well beyond victory or defeat. The bodily ramifications could be brutal if Jake cannot handle the tempo or output of a previous unified heavyweight title holder. While he commends Jake's boldness and drive, Plemons insists that the difference in championship credentials combined with the insufficient time Jake has to absorb heavyweight principles makes this pairing one of the most perilous endeavors of Jake Paul's journey. Even following recognition of Jake's boldness and drive, the concerns don't vanish, and that's precisely where previous UFC championship contender Darren Till joins the discussion. He communicates from decades within fighting disciplines, clarifying that while we can respect anyone prepared to advance toward peril, there are tiers and truths you simply cannot avoid. Till says he has invested over years perfecting striking in MMA, Muay Thai, and boxing, and even he wouldn't choose to battle Anthony Joshua under professional regulations. From his viewpoint, Jake Paul may be pursuing greatness, but the disparity in dimensions, strength, and elite-level credentials makes this confrontation challenging to defend as a fair competition. He proposes that if there isn't some type of backstage protection arrangement, Jake is entering a scenario where his bodily safety is legitimately at stake.
Jake Paul could get seriously hurt in there, couldn't he?
Yeah, look, Anthony Joshua is one of the biggest, strongest heavyweights out there. I've sparred a few heavyweights who come down the gym. One was being a guy called the War Chief. He was massive. He looked like John Coffey from Green Island. No, he didn't punch me around, but every time he hit me, even when he hit me forward, I just felt like this thunder hit me, and I was like, and that's why we have weight classes. That's why you'd have your lightweight, your welterweight, and from that we can all go up and down a little bit, but we can't make jumps like that. It's just not. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Jake could get fucking killed in there.
So, as we conclude this discussion, every authority in the sport, from championship fighters to MMA legends to commentators who've witnessed every surprise the discipline can deliver, is expressing the same message. This confrontation is monumental, but it's also a colossal risk. Anthony Joshua possesses authentic heavyweight threat, decades of championship preparation, and a mentality that doesn't mess around. Jake Paul delivers determination, unwavering belief, and a readiness to gamble everything for historical significance. That's why we're all fixated on it. Maybe Jake stuns the planet, or maybe consequences arrive like a heavyweight right hand. Either way, we're observing a moment that could transform boxing forever, for better or for worse. Now it's your turn. Do you believe Jake Paul actually withstands a single accurate punch from Anthony Joshua? Or does this whole venture conclude the instant a real heavyweight connects? Jump into the comments and let the debate go wild. And yo, don't ever forget to like, share, and subscribe to Boxing Signals. See you in the next one.